DL Hughley just shook the internet once again, this time turning his sharp focus directly towards Snoop Dogg. The comedian is calling Snoop out for doing the exact same thing he once criticized other artists for, saying the rap icon is finally showing his true colors. Fans online are treating this like a full-blown episode of primetime drama. It all started when DL reposted a throwback clip from 2017 showing Snoop clowning black entertainers who performed at Donald Trump's inauguration.
It amazes me that to convince black people that Donald Trump cares about them, he takes pictures with celebrities. It's amazing to me. If Donald Trump cared about black people, he wouldn't have denigrated the president with those claims of birtherism.
Back then, Snoop went off saying, "Which one of you Uncle Tom ninjas gonna do it?" It was raw, unapologetic, and brutally honest, the kind of statement that made headlines for days. But here's where the twist comes in. Fast forward to 2025, and Snoop just performed at a Trump event himself. Cameras caught him at Interview 059, shoulder to shoulder with Nelly and Rick Ross, looking like he was enjoying the exact energy he once condemned others for. The internet didn't hesitate to react. The backlash was instant and ruthless. Comment sections filled with people calling him a sellout, a hypocrite, even mocking him for puffing his chest out to dance for power. Watching one of hip-hop's most respected rebels, the same artist Tupac once co-signed for his defiance, now facing heat for standing beside Trump. It's wild, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Snoop Dogg is already knee-deep in controversy with rumors swirling from all directions. There are whispers about secret ties, talk that he's playing both sides, and even claims suggesting he's gotten too close to federal authorities. Then Suge Knight stepped in and poured gasoline on the fire, publicly calling Snoop the real industry rat and reigniting long-standing suspicions that he betrayed Tupac. Suge even alleged that Snoop lied about visiting Pac in the hospital, calling that entire story pure fabrication. Coming from the man who helped build Death Row Records, those words didn't sound like gossip. They hit like a bomb. Now fans are connecting the dots. Add Snoop's recent Trump performance to that mix and the picture looks even more chaotic. In response to the criticism, Snoop tried to clarify his stance, saying he was honored to perform for the office of the president. But instead of cooling things down, it only made the backlash worse. Many hip-hop fans felt betrayed, watching one of the genre's most iconic rebels transform into the very figure he used to mock. DL Hughley wasn't about to let that slide either.
Most important thing is there's got to be a solution, because this has been going on in the industry for a whole years, for decades. And at the same time, nobody wants this to be true. And it shouldn't have to be true. But if we don't fix it and do something about it, history will constantly
repeat itself. Now, Suge, you said something early on that I want to get clarification for the audience. Suge, you said early on, you can't just look at Diddy in isolation. You said this was done to him. He learned from others, and it was done to him, and then he did to others. To me, that sounds like what I hear when people are talking about situations, hurt people, that someone was, they wind up being a perpetrator. Is that what you're suggesting about Sean Combs, that he was used and he now uses?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think he beat what was done to him. And like I said, if you look at Russell Simmons, you know the truth. Andre Rail, you know the truth. Ryan Davis, you know the truth. Jimmy Iovine, you know the truth. So there's not certain things that all of a sudden you got this. The industry is a quick business. It's been like that for a long time. And the casting couch is real, but it's for women and men. But far from all that, I think the most important thing is I feel like they should let Puffy tell his truth. I'm quite sure he's going to expose a lot of people. I'm sure he's going to move forward with it. And I don't think it should be a situation like the Epstein thing where they found him hanging from the ceiling and dead before the truth come out.
When Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross took that stage together, it wasn't just another celebrity show. It became a cultural storm. Nelly jumped online to defend himself in a conversation with rapper Willie D, insisting, "I'm not doing this for the money. It's an honor. I respect the office, period." He even claimed he'd perform for Biden or Kamala Harris if asked, framing it as business, not politics. But DL Hughley wasn't convinced, not for a second. DL Hughley fired back on Instagram with a post that lit up the timeline like wildfire. He wrote, "Trump propping up white supremacy isn't just his past, Nelly. It's who he still is today." Then DL reposted that old Snoop clip, letting the receipt speak louder than any caption. The message was crystal clear. He was calling out hypocrisy, and fans across social media stood firmly behind him. The energy was intense, and the comment sections turned into digital battlegrounds overnight. But this wasn't some sudden outburst. DL's been consistent about this for years. Back in 2017, when Steve Harvey met with Trump alongside Ben Carson, DL went off on national television saying, "It amazes me that to convince black people Trump cares, he takes pictures with celebrities." He didn't stop there. He added, "If Trump really cared about black people, he wouldn't have pushed racist lies about Obama or used rappers and athletes as props." Then he sealed the point with a cold truth. They'd rather see us run the ball than run the country. So when DL saw Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross performing for Trump years later, he couldn't hold back. To him, this wasn't about business. It was about submission. He even dropped a chilling theory explaining why Trump wanted Snoop there in the first place: power. DL claimed it was about dominance, proving that Trump could make someone who once mocked him bow down and perform for the cameras. And DL didn't stop there. He broke it down further, saying Trump didn't bring back Waka Flocka, Kodak Black, or Lil Pump. Those were old tricks. But Snoop, that's different. Snoop represents something bigger: global reach, mainstream respect, and street credibility, all wrapped in one figure. According to DL, Trump's team knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't random, it was strategic. The internet erupted instantly with memes, videos, and fan edits spreading everywhere. One viral post even quoted DMX saying, "They sold their souls to the devil and the price was cheap." Another comment joked, after Snoop's Olympic moment, he thought he was untouchable. Guess not. But others went even deeper, accusing Snoop of being an informant, pointing to how he's suddenly everywhere, from brand deals to commercials to Olympic hosting gigs. Still, one remark cut through the noise more than anything else. When you get enough money, you'll excuse anything. But money can't erase history.
Ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo is gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the one of you Uncle Tom is for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first?
That line captured the mood perfectly. Fans are done tolerating what they see as celebrity double standards. No matter how legendary Snoop's career might be in 2025, people remember everything. Now everyone's asking the same burning question. Did Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross just sell out their legacy for a quick payday, or was it really just business? The debate has the internet split right down the middle. Half of hip-hop's audience is calling it flat-out betrayal, while the other half insists it's nothing more than politics. Either way, one thing's crystal clear. Snoop's reputation just took a major hit. Between Suge Knight's explosive accusations and DL Hughley's relentless online takedown, it's starting to feel like one of hip-hop's most iconic figures is unraveling right before everyone's eyes. The whispers about Snoop playing both sides refuse to fade, and every new headline only throws more gasoline on the fire. What began as a performance controversy has snowballed into a full-blown cultural storm. DL didn't just highlight hypocrisy, he cracked open years of buried suspicions, unspoken doubts, and long-standing rumors about Snoop's loyalty. Now, the question everyone's asking is one that was once unthinkable. Who was Snoop really loyal to? The streets, the culture, or whoever cuts the biggest check? Because let's face it, Snoop's come-up was never clean-cut. Back in the death row era, he was the voice of the West Coast, the smooth-talking, laid-back figure with dangerous credibility and undeniable street power. Suge Knight's latest statements landed like a punch to the gut across the hip-hop world. From behind bars, Suge claimed that Snoop Dogg has been playing both sides since the very beginning, saying that while Tupac was fighting for a cause and putting everything on the line, Snoop was smiling for both camps, staying quiet when things got real, and keeping himself safe.
But part of that is starting off with Snoop Dogg and Nelly and Soulja Boy and others for their decisions to perform at events surrounding the inauguration.
Suge even alleged that Snoop knew far more than he's ever admitted about what really went down between Pac and Death Row before that tragic night in Las Vegas. Then came the statement that shook the culture. Suge called Snoop the biggest rat in the industry since the 90s. Those are heavy words, especially coming from the man who built Death Row Records and lived through the chaos firsthand. Meanwhile, Snoop's Hollywood transformation has only made the accusations hit harder. From his Olympic hosting gigs and high-profile commercials to his cooking shows with Martha Stewart, Snoop has carefully rebranded himself into America's favorite uncle. But not everyone's buying the clean image. Some fans are questioning how Snoop went from gangster rapper to corporate mascot, while others are taking it even further, suggesting his untouchable status might come from protection far beyond fame. The industry informant theory spread online like wildfire, and fans wasted no time digging up old receipts. They began highlighting the suspicious pattern. Every time chaos erupted around Snoop, he walked away unscathed. Think about it. During Death Row's most dangerous years, everyone around him got hit. Tupac was gone, Suge got locked up, and Dre distanced himself completely. Yet somehow, Snoop slid out untouched and only became bigger. Some call that smart business and survival instincts, but others insist it smells like something else entirely, something far more calculated and protected behind the scenes. One viral comment summed up the internet's mood perfectly. Notice how Snoop never really gets touched, never canceled, never dragged for long. That ain't luck. Whether true or not, perception holds power, and right now that perception has completely shifted. People are looking at Snoop Dogg through a new, more skeptical lens. And DL Hughley's recent words have only fueled the fire. For DL, this isn't just about politics, it's about accountability. He made it clear that it's not about who you perform for, but the message you send when you do it, especially when your entire career was built on the idea that you'd never cross that line. DL basically said Snoop's Trump performance wasn't just bad optics, it was betrayal, a direct slap in the face to the same culture that once crowned him a king. The contrast between Snoop's gangster origins and his current political softness struck a nerve. Fans crave authenticity, and DL is calling out what he sees as pure performance, a well-rehearsed act masking lost integrity. Social media has been in overdrive ever since. Timelines are flooded with memes, split takes, and fiery debates. Some fans argue that Snoop's just trying to stay relevant in an era that moves faster than ever. Others believe the situation runs much deeper, involving power plays, quiet industry deals, and backroom politics hidden in plain sight. Then came Nelly's defense, where he insisted, "I respect the office," but fans weren't buying it. They immediately roasted him online, saying that was just code for "I got paid." Even Rick Ross couldn't escape the backlash. His silence after the event only made things worse. One viral tweet hit particularly hard, saying, "Ross went from hustling to hustling for Trump." The streets weren't feeling it, not even a little. Meanwhile, the old-school hip-hop heads were left shaking their heads, saying this moment proves just how far the culture has drifted from what it used to represent. Back in the day, artists risked their careers, their money, and even their freedom to speak truth to power. Now fans say the new generation of stars looks far too comfortable watching their heroes flip for a paycheck and blend into the system they once stood against. One YouTube comment captured the mood perfectly. "We watched Snoop go from F*** the police to let me get that corporate check. That's not evolution, that's erosion." Harsh words, but thousands agreed. Of course, a few tried to defend him, saying it's unfair to expect artists to stay militant forever. Maybe Snoop's just adapting to survive in a changing world. But DL Hughley's words still echoed through the chaos. "You can't clown others for selling out, then do the same thing years later." That line hit hard, especially now with Snoop's name quietly drifting into conversations surrounding ongoing industry scandals. Fans can't stop connecting dots, wondering who's tied to who. The ongoing investigations and rising tension have made everyone suspicious, and Snoop's sudden coziness with powerful political figures only fuels the fire further. Some believe he's aligning himself with influence to protect his empire, while others insist it's simply calculated business. But one thing is undeniable. The Snoop Dogg narrative has changed forever. The questions surrounding his loyalty, image, and intentions are louder than ever before, and no amount of charm or rebranding seems strong enough to drown them out this time. Every new headline only deepens the mystery. Then came the wave of conspiracies, and the Snoop plays both teams theory exploded overnight. But this time it wasn't just random internet trolls stirring the pot. a few industry insiders began dropping cryptic warnings, fueling speculation even more. One former producer said, "You never really know who's who in this game. Some of the ones you think are real have been playing chess while the rest are still playing checkers." Fans instantly took that as a subtle jab at Snoop, and the internet went into full detective mode, connecting every suspicious dot. Suddenly, every shady move in hip-hop somehow linked back to him. From quiet partnerships to old rumors, Snoop's name became the thread running through every new theory. Through it all, he stayed silent, occasionally posting cryptic jokes or subtle reactions online. Some say he's just unbothered, keeping it cool like he always has. Others believe he's hiding behind humor because he knows the backlash is serious and still unfolding behind the scenes. Silence can be powerful, but in a moment like this, it can also be dangerous. When people are already questioning your loyalty, every quiet moment feels like confirmation. The longer Snoop stays silent, the louder the conversation grows. It's wild to think that the same man who once called himself the voice of the streets is now watching those same streets turn their backs. And in 2025, public opinion hits harder than any diss track ever could. At this point, it's no longer about one performance. It's about legacy. When your entire career is built on authenticity, one misstep can flip your image upside down overnight. Snoop Dogg now faces the biggest identity crisis of his career, and the wildest part is the irony. This is the man who once taught everyone else how to move smart in this industry, and now the whole world is watching to see if he still remembers how. Right now, it's starting to look like Snoop might be the one getting played. What began as casual gossip has erupted into a full-blown cultural debate about loyalty, authenticity, and identity within hip-hop. Every day, new clips, podcast debates, and viral memes drag his name right back into the center of the storm. Some fans are still defending him, calling it calculated strategy, a long game only Snoop could pull off, but others feel completely betrayed, like their favorite icon just switched sides in front of the entire world. The truth is, Snoop's brand once seemed untouchable, larger than controversy itself, but now that armor's starting to show cracks. When your entire life unfolds in public view, every contradiction eventually circles back to haunt you. DL Hughley didn't just call out hypocrisy, he struck a cultural nerve that's pulsed through hip-hop for decades. The fine line between keeping it real and selling out has never been more visible, and Snoop's stumble just exposed how fragile that balance really is. When DL said Trump's move was a power flex, that he made a man who once mocked him perform for him, it stung deep. It made Snoop look less like a legend and more like a pawn in someone else's political chess match. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. Trump didn't need your bars, Snoop. He needed your face. That's the kind of control DL has been warning about for years. Powerful figures using cultural icons as props to project dominance and validation. Now the entire world is watching that prophecy play out in real time, but here's the twist. DL's call-out didn't just go viral, it reignited a much bigger conversation across hip-hop, one that's forcing artists, fans, and even industry veterans to question who's really running the culture and who's quietly selling it off piece by piece, or as one viral post perfectly put it, full circle humiliation. Even within the industry, whispers started spreading that some lines once crossed leave stains that never fade. Because when an artist builds a legacy on rebellion, performing for power doesn't look like growth, it looks like surrender. Still, the culture isn't trying to cancel Snoop completely. What people really want is for him to speak, to explain, to reclaim the voice that once defined authenticity in hip-hop. A simple acknowledgement could calm the storm, but instead he's chosen silence. Maybe he's waiting it out, but in today's digital world, silence isn't peace, it's gasoline. Every hour he doesn't speak, the speculation grows louder, and the loyalty from fans grows thinner. Hip-hop is watching closely, and the new generation is taking notes, studying how the OGs move when their legacies are tested. Moments like this are redefining what authenticity truly means. Because if someone like Snoop, the same man who repped Long Beach, Death Row, and Gin and Juice, can get caught in this storm, then maybe no one's untouchable anymore. DL Hughley didn't just call Snoop out, he cracked open a deeper truth about fame, politics, and the responsibility of standing on your word when the spotlight hits hardest. The internet isn't just watching, it's judging. Every like, post, and comment becomes part of hip-hop's evolving history. So what do you think? Did Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross go too far performing for Trump? Or is this just business in a new era of power plays where loyalty costs more than ever, Drop your thoughts below, because one thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and the next chapter might be even wilder. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and stay tuned for more breakdowns and deep dives on the culture.